for this. Yeah, so ERP stand for Enterprise Resource Planning System. Sometimes I don't even remember what it stands for, but we just keep calling ERP, okay? So ERP is a system where usually, you see here is a resource planning, okay? So basically, do we talk about this? Not yet, right? So basically, it's a complicated system where, it will work the best if everybody in the supply chain has a system. So it's like, how do I put it? It's like, how many of you use DocuSign? DocuSign, heard of it? So DocuSign is like, they send you a document, you can just click and then sign and sign and sign, right? So DocuSign will work the best if everybody has that. It's like in the beginning, like many years ago, Adobe was free many years ago, so we could just use it. And then if we don't have it, we can just install it for free. But now it's not free anymore. But it's still good to have Adobe, to have, even if you don't have the professional one. But now we need to, when we want to open the file, we need to have that. Okay, so it's the same thing as ERP. So if you work with someone and then this company has ERP, it will be much easier for you to transfer the documents, because before we use fax or email, we can just email and then fax. But now if we have this, everything is in the system. You can actually look up the inventory, whether or not they have enough inventory, or whether or not they have different resources, or whether or not you can find extra stuff. Okay, so we actually the part we talk about is more logistic, or where is this? Okay, move it up. I recorded. So it could be HR, human resource management. Human resource management, they will build some system, and then like for our school, the HR, they will have, our pay step, our insurance, or our benefit in some kind of system. And for us, we can go in there and then select whatever system we want. And then we also can see whatever training we need to do. So for the companies, it will be similar, but different department will have different authority to see different stuff. Like we will see our information. Okay, I remember when I used to work in a hotel, somehow I found a way to enter the HR's system, and I was able to see the basic information of all other employees. So, but I don't know how, like it's a messed up from the system, because they're not supposed to let us see. So I was working in the front desk, the room department, and the room department, we have to do a lot of statement, different stuff, different analysis to send to different department. Like sometimes we have to, so it depends on the room we have, the guests booked. So some guests book the room with free breakfast. So we have to send those information to the restaurant department to, how many, and then sometimes they order room service. So we have to also send those report to, to pile up different, like it's like sort of like it's our contribution, because it's our guests that do room service to the restaurant department. So, so we have different report. Somehow, I don't know how, I was able to find the whole employee, not just the room department, but the employee from housekeeping, from restaurant, from, the security. So to see all their, but just basic information, not as much as the HR can see. And then logistic management, if your supplier also have the ERP system, okay, like one time I went to, my car got scratched by a friend. So so I was parking in my friend's driveway, and they just kind of they haven't had visitor for so long because during pandemic nobody like go anywhere. So they forgot actually parked there. They just back out and then somehow scratch my door, like this side of the door, like the whole thing was scratched. And so I had to take my car to the collision center to fix it. And the people there, they were like, so the insurance company sent me there, and they are very how should I put it, very efficient. So they have everything. They look the system, they say, oh, the system show this. So I started to talk to them. I say, oh, what kind of system you have? And we will talk about it. They use a SAP ERP system. They say, well, this insurance company make us install this system, and it costs they have the small business version, which is cheaper. But at that time, I remember he told me it cost them $900,000 to install the system for a small business. Yeah, so it's still a lot, but it definitely make it based on what he said, make it much easier for them to see everything, because the insurance, how do you call the person that actually need to go to your car to evaluate, and then they need to do the estimate of how much it will cost? I forgot like appraiser or something like that. Yeah, so they have to give you the appraisal. So everything is already in the system, and then they can just put it out. So that's in terms of logistics. So that's something like, and then they know what part they will need, what kind of paint they need. So it's all goes to all the, working partners or suppliers they have. So, they can just order that from there. And then we have product life cycle management. Again, it's all related to your suppliers or your customers. So everything is in there. And then he can also order management. You can see your order. And if the system is built nicely, okay, in theory, if you receive an order, and then if they require different part, in theory, it will send, once you receive an order, it will send to different department that, whatever order you need, it will send to different department. And then, they will have to have those ready for the production department. And then they have also finance module, like what I told you guys. We will have to say some of the statement to the accounting department. Okay, so that's, different part that will connect together. But as you can see, it's very complicated. And sometimes some company do need to make their decision wisely. So the ERP system, it will, in theory, even though it's complex, the ERP system itself is complex, but it will actually help if you build a nice system. It will reduce the complexity. And then it will help you to manage your processes. Okay, like I say, when I bring my car in, it kind of helped me, And even, let me think. One time I also ordered, I went to Lowe's, my storm door were smashed when the storm came and I wasn't home. So the Amazon people try to deliver stuff. So they actually opened the storm door and put the package inside, in between the storm door and the door. And they didn't close the door. So, and I wasn't home. And then there was a storm. It was just when was it? Is it in March? Maybe in March? I don't know if you guys remember, there was a weekend, suddenly we have snow. Yeah, so that was that weekend. So the door got smashed and then it got twisted and then the frame got cracked. So I had to, someone told me Lowe's can help us to, install the new door. So I went to Lowe's and then I picked the door, and then they have this system where they will order, they make sure they have the inventory, and then I have to pick lock, different door lock, and different stuff. So they have all this, and then they will send it to the contractor. The contractor will come, measure the door, and then make sure it's fixable. So that's it helped them to manage the business processes, so it doesn't have to go through different people, different department to do all this. It will just go into the computer system. And then we can also manage, standardize the data. Like I mentioned, like we have so many different statements to see how much the hotel example. So how much is the revenue we actually have from the room, from the stay in the hotel, and how much different department contribute to the let's say restaurants, or to different department. Like sometimes the restaurant department, they will have banquet, like weddings and stuff. So when they have wedding, they also usually they will book the biggest suite for the bride or groom to to change, or to rest. So that part of revenue would also goes to the restaurant department, even though it's for the room stay. But it actually helps us to manage and standardize our data. And we can also standardize the processes, because we have to follow the system. So that's ERP. So to reduce complexity, like I mentioned in the beginning, it's difficult to set this up because it's very complicated, and you need to make sure it's integrated well enough. There's no mistake. Like in the hotel example I had, they didn't. The system we had was very, very old, because we try to be frugal, try to be cheap. So we use a system that's really, really old, and it didn't really how should I put it, like update with the modern demand. Yeah. So and then sometimes we have to share information, like I mentioned, with different department, or with different suppliers, different vendors. Okay, so sometimes it's something that we have to do. And then I don't know if you guys ever experienced that, but sometimes even when we, let's say when we do Google document share, sometimes if we don't, well, Google is not a good example, because Google usually is very good. Like when you change something, you don't necessarily need to save it. But in the ERP system, sometimes if you don't submit, or if you didn't change, if you didn't confirm, the information wouldn't transfer to another entity. Okay, so sometimes the information sharing will be a little bit complicated. Sometimes it got lost in the system. Okay, so but when we are implementing the ERP system, we will have opportunity to kind of reorganize the system we have, and then try to be more efficient. Yeah, but sometimes it's very difficult. Like I was told to just a few days ago, I was told to route a document through DocuSign. I used DocuSign before. It's easy to use, but I don't know how to route it to different people, and I don't know how to like specify, like, okay, column A, the chair has to sign, or you have to sign, A has to sign, column B has to sign, C has to sign. I don't know how to do that. Okay, I don't know how do I make that happen. So to me, it's a little bit more complicated, but if I receive a DocuSign, ask me to sign, it's easy, right? So so for the ERP system, they will also help us to manage the business process. Okay, so of course, in the beginning, when you install the new system, it's always difficult. But when you are used to it, it'll be very convenient and very helpful, I think, my personal opinion. So the companies usually have different business function, like I mentioned, you have accounting, you have finance, you have production, marketing, sales. So sometimes we will have repetitive task, but sometimes even though it's necessary, but sometimes maybe we just need that to be done by one department. Okay, through ERP, it would help us to streamline our processes. Okay. So so to manage your processes, ERP will actually help. Okay, because it's a more secure process, so it will be easier. And then we can manage, standardize the data. Okay, and for example, margin, like the example here is margin in one companies, they might not be the same, or the turnaround rate. Okay, some in HR, it could be people how fast people quit, but in let's say in a hotel, it could be how fast our room is sold. Okay, so it will be different, but when we use ERP, we might be able to make sure we use the common business language. So, and then we can standardize the process, like I mentioned, because through ERP system we have to follow certain rules. Okay, like when we do DocuSign, this is because I was dealing with this morning, so it just keep coming to my mind. So when we use DocuSign, like when I bought or sold my house, because it's during pandemic area, so they use DocuSign, and sometimes like you have 20-30 pages of stuff. Sometimes we just kind of skip, and then you just with DocuSign, they will tell you sign here, just kind of need to click, and then it will sign. And then sometimes, like one time I tried to actually read the whole thing. So I was reading it, and then I forgot to sign, or I didn't see the sign here sign because I was reading it. But for the DocuSign, it will go back there, say you have to sign here. So I just need to like kind of click, and then it will sign. So it's similar in the ERP system. In the process, you have to do certain confirmation. You have to, like I said, you have to confirm, or you have to submit your stuff to, you have to follow certain procedure to make sure it's done. So so it actually standardize the processes. Okay, so it's actually good, but like I mentioned, it's very expensive. Okay, one of the drawbacks is a significant cost. Now they try to have the small business version, and I thought it would be much cheaper. But after I talked to the collision center, I was like, wow, it's not that cheap, But because ERP system is very complicated, so in the beginning, we need to prioritize. We need to figure out which function we want to focus on first, okay? And it takes very long time to implement the system. So let's see the drawbacks. So the one is we have to prioritize, and we have to like, which one is the one that, we want to focus first. So usually companies start with the financial module, like, like the customer list, the vendor list, and then how much is the sales, this kind of stuff. And then depends on the, the sequence of how you want to implement this. It could be very difficult to decide who will go first or who will go later, because everything is somewhat connected, right? So you have to, you have to work with that, and then you have to decide, and then maybe comfort whatever inconvenient caused to, the different employees, different group of employees. So, and then once you decide, you might have to revise it, revisit your plan, your priority over time, because sometimes, you know, things change. So you might need to make some kind of adjustment. And then it takes long time. Okay, it takes long time. So this magazine, CIO magazine, they survey 670 executives, and they found the average implementation takes 18 to 20 months, which is almost 2 years, right? And it gives a lot of challenges, including, you know, the cost, and then the distraction, and not to mention the frustration in the employees. Okay, so and then the average, you guys, are you guys millennials or you guys are Gen Z? Are you guys born after 2000? So you're Gen Z. You're Gen Z. You guys are young, right? You are Gen.
Born in 1999.
So you are millennials.
I guess so.
Yeah. So but younger people, the millennial plan to stay their current job for 18 months to 3 years, 1.5 to 3. How many of you? How many of you? I'm just curious. How many of you want to stay in your job like for a long time? None? So you just want to stay for maybe 1 to 2 years first and then see? Okay. Yeah, so see, that's why it makes it more difficult, because once you go there, you learn and then you leave, and then new people come in, they need to learn again. Okay. So it definitely, it's difficult when time, you know, when time goes, especially when we have more and more younger people in the workforce. Yeah. So, and we already mentioned this, it's very expensive. Okay, they all have a purchase price, like the financial module, the finance module, the inventory module, the logistic module. They all require different type of cost and then different configuration. You need to make sure it will work, it will connect with different modules. And sometimes you also need external resources, like you need the partners, your suppliers also have that kind of system. And then you constantly need support from the software provider. Okay, and you want to make sure you train enough people, considering that some like have maybe at least 20–30% of your employee will quit in 2–3 years. Okay, so and then we have the last drawback is the HR requirement. Usually we want the because ERP involves so many different functions, so you will see the project team, they are functionally diverse. Okay, so you will have to make sure people are working nicely together. And if there's a change, you also need to determine, you know, who will be impacted, and you want to make sure they will be part of the planning execution team. And then the structure of your ERP project team has to be defined. Otherwise, it will be difficult to promote this project because it's huge and it's very long-term, time-consuming, and actually money-consuming too. So, so this is the the drawbacks for ERP. It's a lot of work, but once you get it done, it will really help. Okay. So a lot of times, some companies, they would use a system integrator. They should be expert on certain specific ERP system. And sometimes there would be someone that have expertise in the company's industry information. So they will work together and try to make things work. Okay. So the system integrator's drawback is cost, logistics, ramp up, and management conflict. So cost, the integrator are expensive, and they will add more money into the already expensive budget for ERP. And then the integrators are consultant. You know, you have to pay, and consultant is expensive. You have to pay sometimes the travel, you know, all the stuff. So that's kind of, you know, expensive. And then sometimes even though they might be the expert for ERP, but they might not really understand what your company is doing. So you have to work closely with them, and they don't have the knowledge of the company's specific processes, your facility, you know, your existing system or policies. So they will have to learn that, and they have to, you know, you have to kind of educate them. So that's another drawback. And then the management is you have to manage the team of the consultant for the the company's internal team. And you need to make sure they are held accountable for delivering their work. Sometimes they'll be like, oh, this is done, but it's not, you know, like the other day. I don't know if you guys remember the first few weeks, the speaker in this room didn't work. So I walk to the third floor computer lab and say, this room doesn't have speaker. So actually I was waiting here for them to, because I think, yeah, our class ended early. So I went down and they said, oh, I sent someone. So I was waiting here till 12:30, till my next class starts. Nobody came. So before I went to the other class, I went downstairs again. I say, I didn't see anybody. I was waiting there for about 30 minutes. And then the guy said, oh, he will be there. So but I didn't know if, you know, I didn't know because, you know, I have class after class, I have meetings, so I didn't have time to come back and check. But hey, when I came back, actually it worked. So, but you need to make sure, you know, you have to tell them. So, so you have to make sure you help them accountable to deliver their work, even though they are like the external, you know, consultant, and you know they charge a lot. So still, you need to make sure there might be conflict. Okay, there might be personality conflict. There might be different type of conflict. Okay, or maybe political. Who knows? Like, because usually consultant come in and then they will stay in the hotel, and then a lot of times, like I remember when I used to work for, I forgot what consultant was that, but consultant is, I forgot what consultant is that, but they came in and then we usually take them to lunch, to dinner, you know, we want to treat the consultant well. So, but sometimes there might be conflict. So, you know, that's something that we have to keep in mind. Oh my goodness, my daughter keep calling me. Wait. And then these are the most SAP is the most popular ERP provider, and Oracle is also a famous one. They are getting bigger and bigger. And Microsoft, I didn't know Microsoft have ERP, but I don't know if you guys have, we all have Microsoft 360. It's 360 or 365? 365. So, yeah, so I think they also have like Microsoft Team or something. I think they try to create something, but I'm not familiar with their system. And then the second tier, the tier 2 ERP solution, we have Epicor, Sage, IFS, Infor, NetSuite, Exact, so different things. Oh my God. Okay, so let's, do you want to L brands? Do you want to, let's skip this because we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. Oh, actually, let's see how many people here. 8. But actually, let me take attendance. This is bonus because we don't have attendance for this class. We don't count. Wait, what is this class? Oh, this is the, okay. So let's see. And then there's, okay, wait. Five. Okay. So who's here? What's your name?
Leah.
Leo. Leah or Leo?
Leah.
This one, right?
Yeah.
S. Which one? Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Is a letter. The one big name. Right now.
Oh, this one.
Yeah.
How do you say your name? Oh, no, your first name. How do you want people to call you? Roman? Okay, Roman. Right? See those in D2L. I don't think they were listening. Hey, whoever on the D2L, if you're listening, type on the chat your name. I'll give you bonus points. Let's see any response. Okay, so wow, this is too fast. Let's see. Oh, actually somebody, okay. So I will put you guys, okay, good. So 3 people were listening. Jay and Miguel. I'm going to put there Jay. I don't see rule. Miguel is, yeah, this one, right? But I didn't see Jay. I saw Julia too. Julia is, what is Jay's last name? Oh, here. Oh, Joshua. Okay, done. So I guess that's it. Any questions? So let me see what we are going to do next week. So next week, I mean Thursday. So Thursday, Thursday we are going to do simulation and crabs. So does everybody know what crabs is? From casino? Crabs? Yeah, no. Try to Google it before we come back. Okay, otherwise I will spend too much time talking about it. So Any other questions? If not, I'll let you guys go early. Okay? Okay, see you guys. Talk to